Hello, all. This is Dr. Dave Maslach talking about Reciprocity.com, the sharing economy proofreading platform that I am trying to build. The E is spelled with a 3. And in this particular video, I really wanted to talk about how do you get more traffic to a new website? What do I mean by traffic? I mean users, people actually going to something that you built, that it's a new particular website. It's only been up for a year. Maybe it's been up for, a year and a half, something like that. How do you actually get traffic to that website? And this is really to be frank, this is my video where I just talk about the struggles of actually getting traffic to a new website. So this is where I am going to talk about reciprocity and get into how I sort of tried with different video or different sort of ways to get traffic and stuff like that. And, then the sort of realization that I have with getting traffic and the activities behind getting traffic. So stay tuned to that. So what is Reciprocity? This is a sharing economy proofreading platform that I dreamt up a few years ago. I thought this was going to be a really cool thing. So what it is you can go onto that particular website and you exchange proofreading resources. So if you want to help out somebody in any sort of way and proofread their work, you can go and proofread their work and you'll get some credits for it. And if somebody else wants to get their work proofread, you can actually get those credits. You can do that route, but it's going to be really slow to get that route. So this was all what I was planning, right? The reason why it's slow is because it's free and it's difficult to sort of navigate. You have to wait until you're in a queue. So you get put into a queue and then you have to wait until somebody sort of sends you a document, and it's going to be a little bit lengthy to actually get that. And if you want to do it quicker, you just pay for it. And what I was trying to do is figure out a way that I can actually figure out how it can actually get summer support. So I'm a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship, and I didn't want to rely on my university because we have sort of variable summer support. Most universities do, and the summer support is for research. So I wanted to create a different revenue stream where I can actually get some research funds that I can use to sort of build things out and do better research. I also wanted to solve my own problem. My writing is not the best as I thought it would be. And so I often use an editor, but it's often hard to find those people. So I thought maybe it's better to build something and actually create something that's quite useful. So I did, right? I created this platform. I got a couple of contractors put together. Took me, by the time I had the idea to when I launched it was probably about a year and a half. Saving up, spending my own money, it's tens of thousands of dollars at this moment that I've spent with my own money. At this point it's a lot, that it's a significant amount that I know that most people wouldn't be able to afford, but, let's face it, I'm a professor in a business school. We get paid a pretty, I'm not bragging, but we get paid a pretty good amount. It's not a lot, but it's enough to do things like this with our own money. And so I built it and spent all this money and I put it up and I went, ta-da! Guess what? Nothing happened. There was absolutely, I actually did all the stuff that I would teach. I got out and, I tried to, I put out some blog posts and stuff like that beforehand as like, this is coming soon. I did the whole Twitter thing where I was trying to get people to join on and say that, this is going to be a way to get free proofreading if you want to. A lot of people didn't like that. I got kind of beat up on Twitter, to be honest. That was not fun. And then I also paid for traffic to get people to sign up so I can have this mailing list. So I had to I thought it was a good enough mailing list. I thought it was, at the time, I think I had about 1,200 people that were signed up that wanted this particular thing. And guess what? I launched it and I told people, nobody checked it out. It was definitely, it was a disappointment, to say the least, after spending all this money. And I thought this was a great idea, where it wasn't just me who needed this, that there were so many other people. It was like students needed it, the corporate world needed it. There was just huge, there's a huge demand, there's huge supply. So I thought, geez Louise, this is going to be a big thing and it's going to be awesome. But you know what? It just really didn't. When I launched it, it was back in, I think it was mid-October now, where I launched it. And I told people, did the whole Facebook thing and put that on there. And, people did the old, hey, congratulations, and, that kind of thing, clap, clap, clap. But nothing happened. And that was it, right? So I built this thing, and hardly anybody, in fact, very few people have spent any sort of money on it to fund it, to keep it going and stuff like that. So right now it's just my wife and I that are currently funding it, and nothing is happening. So I tried two different ways to get traffic. The first one was to pay for it, and when I first launched, I was like, geez, this is not working. So I started paying for it, right? So I had the Google Ads, spending 50 cents, 60 cents a click on it. So it wasn't that much, but it added up. It was expensive by the time you actually got people to go into the website, and then nobody did anything, right? The other thing so people would go into the website and sign up, but then nothing would happen. So then the other thing I tried was content marketing and doing these YouTube videos. And these YouTube videos, I started doing them back in December-ish last year. And those YouTube videos, I wasn't doing them a lot. Every once in a while I do them, maybe 1 or 2 a week, if that. And then I started doing them a little bit more substantially in May. And then starting July 1st, I'm doing 1 a day to get the word out there. And, it's not as, at this point, there's still not a lot of traffic from it, but there is a little bit of traffic. So it's a little bit better, I think, than the paid way. But I came across some realization, because this is very costly for me. Even doing both routes are very costly, right? So the paid route, really costly. It's kind of unsustainable for me. The content marketing route, it's really costly because I'm spending my time doing this and talking to you and not talking to somebody else, or not doing my own research, right? Or hanging out with my kids, right? This is Saturday morning right now. They're sitting there watching TV, and I'm doing this to talk to you. This is, it's costly. I'm not spending time doing something else. And, as a professor of innovation, my time is worth a lot to me. It's probably worth a lot in general, right? Because my salary is not cheap in any sort of means. But, I'm doing this just to talk and tell you all about these different struggles and things like that. I want to make sure that the word is getting out there. I want to, put in a real decent effort that I tried with this venture and tried to get this thing going. So this is just me being really honest with you, and being, at this point, I'm kind of really frustrated that things are not sort of panning out in the way that they would have turned out. So in general, yes, I'm really frustrated with it, and I wish it would be doing a little bit more than what it was. I thought it would be useful. I thought I thought my friends and colleagues and stuff would use it, but nope. Yeah, it's not. It's not really being used as much as I like, because I thought, they would join on because, hey, great, it's going to help out PhD students and graduate students and hopefully give scholarships and stuff like that. That was a really cool idea, that all the incentives were aligned, thinking about it from an academic way and thinking about all incentives and encouraging people to participate and all that stuff. I thought this would work. But, I learned a lot along the way. And yeah, that's one thing that I have learned, that it doesn't necessarily always work. So what now, right? So this is the thing. What I've come to realize, and what I've really sort of thought about recently, or what I'm trying to convince myself to, I guess, is more of a convincing myself, is that the goal or the benefit of doing these YouTube videos, so the running the ads, it is what it is. I don't get a lot of benefit from that other than sort of playing around and learning something new, right? I learned all about the ads and stuff like that and how the internet works. And what I learned with doing these YouTube videos, the internet is very conservative. They want to make sure that there's no, so the internet being search engines, right? All the different search engines, Yahoo, Google, Bing, and then there's a bunch that are out there, but Google and Yahoo and Bing are the big ones. And they are very conservative with what they do and what they put out there. So new website that, it might be novel, that doesn't have any sort of basis and nobody's linking up to them. There's no backlinks or anything like that. It ain't gonna fly. They're gonna get no traffic. And that's really what I discovered, is that there is very conservative. And it makes sense if you think about why it would be conservative, right? So they're providing the service. They want to link to people in different websites that are legitimate and serving people's needs. And if they link to things that are not legitimate, then it is going to harm them, and people are not going to use that particular search engine in the future. And it also creates, if you have all these illegitimate websites that can easily pop up, it can create a problem that is kind of akin to ransom and kidnapping, where somebody can do some really crappy thing and put it out there, and it could be really nasty, and they can get people to click on that website and go to that website and collect a bunch of money and take your money from it. So the incentive is it's like having the incentive to have ransoms. That's why a lot of countries don't allow you to do ransoms, pay for ransoms. That's illegal. Is that it creates an incentive for this sort of negative behavior, that there's going to be more and more kidnappings because that ransoms are being paid, right? It encourages people to do these bad things. So if they don't have this sort of very conservative bent, the search engines don't have this conservative bent, then it's going to create these situations where there's high incentive for people to do very negative things and steal other people's money, essentially. So the other thing that I learned, so that's the first thing. The second thing, that I learned is that at this point, it's really not about the traffic for me. And it's more about what I've learned, the indirect and secondary effects that I've learned through the process. It is definitely about, at this point, it's definitely like a learning thing. And it's also a grit thing for me, of being able to push through something for a long time without essentially no outcome at all. I've done this before. I've done this many times. One of them is doing a PhD. It's really hard to do. It's really hard to push through something. And you have no resources, and you have to just do it yourself. You have to get out there and do it yourself. And that's really what this is. And the other thing that I've learned and developed is my ability to be a better speaker and to be a better communicator. I think I could be more, I've learned different things, and being in front of the classroom that's helpful. Being a writer, an academic writer, is really helpful because I know I can sort of understand these things at this moment. Has become a little bit more fluent in second nature. So things like, learning how to smile, that's hard for me to do. Learning to actually be a little bit more open and, just being a one-on-one thing, and knowing that there's other people watching this, that's really hard for me. I have a huge amount of social anxiety. If you know me, I'm really kind of an introvert. I don't like to talk in big groups and stuff like that. Speaking in front of people, it gets me charged up because I've got this huge nerve thing going on, and then I get a high from that, as some people probably know that feeling. But just having a one-on-one conversation, it's yeah, I have a lot of social anxiety. I was teased a lot when I was a kid, all that kind of stuff. Teased in high school. I still remember it. It still hurts a lot to think about that kind of stuff. And this is allowing me to get a little bit over that, a little bit. It's always a journey. And it sort of allows me to get over that and learning how to speak a little bit better, because one of the troubles when you do a PhD or you're an academic is, you don't speak to a lot of people often. You just don't, right? You just don't have time to speak to a lot of people. And so there'd be days before where I actually wouldn't talk. And so speaking actually became this huge hurdle. And I remember feeling during my PhD, just feeling very anxious around people. And it got worse and worse the less I talked. So this was a way, at this point, what I've learned is that this is a platform where I can actually talk and be myself and share these kind of things that I wouldn't normally share to, the world, and get this kind of stuff off. So I'm actually getting this stuff off my chest. So I'm actually learning a lot here. I'm learning, I'm developing as a person, developing a secondary skill that I wouldn't normally have developed without this platform and without doing this project. So the benefits are definitely indirect. At least I'm telling myself that. At this point, I don't know, but they're definitely indirect, and I'm really appreciating that some people, I don't know, a couple of people are listening to this at this moment, and hopefully that other people will benefit and go through these same things, and they'll know that, everybody goes through this kind of stuff, and that's, if anybody ever watches it, they'll know that other people are going through these kind of things as well. And I'm trying to be as honest. And if nobody ever watches it, well, this is my private diary that I'm just telling telling the internet something. And if nobody listens, that's fine. And it's my private diary. But then if other people listen, they'll know that, hey, even somebody, I'm a professor of innovation at a large state institution. You'd think that, some people might say that that's kind of, well, you're pretty successful yourself, but I don't feel that way. I often feel like an imposter, like I'm just this kid from Northern Ontario, Canada, and I'm still just goofing around, and I don't know what the heck I'm doing, and that's really the truth at this moment. I'm trying to be as open and honest, and at this point, it is a scary thing. You feel very, to be honest, you feel very alone with what you're doing. But I'm learning that this is a really nice platform to tell people and to just get out there and let it be my private diary, or let it be my platform where people will listen to it and pay attention to it. So that's all I have to say. If you like these videos, again, you can watch the older videos. If you like this one, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, then that's fine as well. Do the old thumbs down. Appreciate everything that you do. And those of you who are already subscribed, I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. It is really cool to see that. And, to see that other people are believing in this. At this moment, it's 150 people that are subscribed. So that is great. But still, it's, after all this effort, and I wish it was more. But yeah, at this point, I do appreciate the gesture of everybody that has contributed, and, that they're watching and stuff like that. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye.